Hello, buddy. Preston Poulter here with Lords of Iron. Finally got a chance to watch Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves over the weekend, and it is quite enjoyable. If you like D&D or if you just like fantasy movies, I recommend you go see it. Stepping back as a writer and looking at it as a piece of art, I gotta say, it's not gonna be a timeless movie. Like a year from now, it will all be forgotten. It doesn't present a lot of hard choices for any of the characters or the audience. I think the climax of the movie really says it all. We have the populace of Waterdeep sitting in an arena watching gladiatorial death matches in essence. There's no morality that is really imposed on the audience for doing that. They're just completely fine. And then there's a red wizard of Thay who's seemingly casting what looks like an evil spell that might be killing all of them, and they're just like, well, whatever, we were promised money as long as we just sit here till the end of the show. Oh wow, look at that, an evil ritual. It has absolutely no bearing on modern times at all. And the movie basically does that. It doesn't ask us as the audience to judge that audience and say they're making bad decisions, they should do something else other than consume. Which, what gets the crowd out of that auditorium? The promise of riches outside. It's not their own preservation instinct that's like, this is an evil ritual, maybe we should run. Instead it's, hey, there's money outside, let's go get some. And in that way the movie just presents to the consumers of today and tomorrow, just consume and you're fine. The only real message in there is believe in yourself. Simon the sorcerer, he's having problems with attuning to the magic object until he finally believes in himself, and then boom, there we go. There's really no sacrifice brought on by any of these characters. And of course, the adventurers of Waterdeep are also, just like the audience, is like, huh, wow, that's interesting. I say, Regdar. Yes, Hennet. I do believe that to be a red wizard of Thay hovering over the Waterdeep arena. She appears to be casting a massive death spell. Well, surely if that were the case, the spectators wouldn't just sit there and die. Don't question me, I'm the sorcerer. Then we had better do something. We shall teach her a lesson she shall never forget. Hey, look, treasure's falling out of that portrait of Forge on that balloon. Free treasure, let's go! None of these characters really have to make any hard decisions. No one really has to sacrifice themselves. Olga never has to go, well, gee, maybe at times I might have to let a man step in. Edgin noticeably never once picks up a sword during the entire movie. He's just the planning guy. So as a result, we have a movie which really lacks any sacrifice made for any greater purpose outside of yourself. And that's why I say this movie won't be remembered in a couple of years, because there's no real themes that any of us can out there go, oh yeah, you know what? At this time in my life, I remember back when this other character in Honor Among Thieves did this thing. I mean, the one conflict of the movie is at the end where Edgin has one scroll of resurrection, and does he want to bring back the mother of his child, or instead a party member who has fallen? And again, not having to make any hard choices, Edgin's like, well, I guess we'll bring back the fallen party member because, well, I owe them one. And in that way, we kind of have this reconstituted family that forms at the end of the movie, and hooray for divorced couples who are able to find each other and provide a new set of parents for children. Hooray. I mean, the movie really is treating us, the audience, like the movie treats the audience in the auditorium. Just stay there, consume, don't ask any value judgments about what you're witnessing. Just seek wealth on occasion, enjoy mindless entertainment despite its value system or whether it's violent or how anyone's really being treated, and you'll be fine. And that way, I think the movie is not really able to impose too much on in terms of value judgments on the audience, because it is essentially elevating all the value judgments that society has made over the last few decades of, kind of integrating multi different ethnic groups together into one culture, elevating the status of women out of the home and into the workplace, elevating the status of minorities up to positions of power. And the movie clearly says all these things are good, good, and great. And so we, as the audience, I guess, for participating in that society, get a pass. And because we are participants in that society, we get a pass essentially because hooray for all of us. And that's basically what the movie kind of ends up saying, is just hooray for all of us. Good day. Now, I'm not saying any of these decisions that we took as a society are bad. They did involve certain trade offs. If anything, I think we as a society right now should be maybe concerned about the level of control that government and large corporations have over us as populations. And in order to just kind of squeeze us and to get us to stop worrying and consume and that everything's going to be all right, might end up being kind of a bad message when we look back on it in a few years. But I guess we'll have to wait for a few years to pass by before we can really see that. By the way, I would be remiss if I didn't give you a word from my sponsor, which is me. I have my own female power fantasy story in Palace of the Golden Princess. First two issues are free. Just go down to Global Comix, use that coupon code, check them out. There's some absolutely gorgeous artwork. It's a sexy setting. I think you'll love it. I think after reading it, I believe you'll find it very enjoyable. Maybe you can come back to me and say, hey, Preston, I saw some themes or not saw some themes in your work, and we can have an interesting discussion. This has been Preston Poulter with Lords of Iron. Thank you very much for your time, everyone. Take care.